And welcome to the third round of the AF1 series, brought to you by the ARC Racing League. We are here in the granddaddy of all F1 tracks, aka the Monaco Grand Prix, the crown jewel of the F1 calendar, one of my favorite tracks of all time. And aside from maybe the Nordschleife, this is probably one of the most difficult tracks people race on, really. I'm joined by Riker. He'll be with us in just a moment. But for now, we are just going to kind of get geared up for qualifying here, which will probably be very interesting. As you may see in real life, you know, this track is very narrow, very small, and qualifying can tend to get a bit hectic when people are on their outlaps while other people are trying to race, while other people are trying to get back into the pits. It's very, very interesting track. It's got almost its own set of rules in a way. But we will get going pretty soon here. I'll probably follow along with Mr. Mikey De Jong here and go through the lap. Show you all the turn names, all the kinks and stuff of this track. He heads out of the final corner and down the front stretch, the longest straight on the circuit, and the only DRS straight, through Zandvoort. He would now be going up Beau Rivage, one of my favorite, or another somewhat straight, but it's got a lot of kinks in it, into Massenet, the left-hander. Following right behind that will be Casino, and then we head down the hill towards Mirabeau. Carbon fiber all over the track already. He's having to weave his way through it into the Grand Hotel hairpin. Now we will go through the second Mirabeau turn before we come down through Portier and down into the tunnel. Extended tunnel. It used to be a lot shorter back in the 60s. Now it's a lot longer. Now down into the Novelle chicane, cutting that inside. I wonder if that messed up his lap. It did not. Through Tabac, coming into the swimming pool chicane right there, and then he will head towards Rascasse. We may see some people dive up the inside of Rascasse. That's one of the better overtaking opportunities on the track. Through the final corner, opens the DRS, down the main straight, and that will be a 1:11.0 for Mikey De Jong, and so far the fastest lap that has been set.
That entire time I was watching the wrong car. Also, yeah, I'm here. I just had some mic problems.
Oh, there he is. Well, we got Riker, as I mentioned earlier. So, Riker, you got any tips or tricks about Monaco you might want to share with the viewers?
Oh boy, I've been here for about 78 laps of it. So, do I ever? As you probably mentioned, the best passing zones are Mirabeau and Rascasse if you're brave. Don't hook the curbs in the Grand Hotel hairpin. Unless you're on a controller, you can get away with it. If you're on a wheel, you might just understeer into a wall.
Yeah, that is very true.
Beware of the suspension undulating through the tunnel corner. And don't hit the inside of the chicane. And also don't hit any of the curbs going through the swimming pool, or you'll probably wreck the car.
Yeah, those are some pretty good ones. I can't think of much more than that. Besides, you know, try and stay away from the walls.
You know?
Yeah, don't mess up. Which, you know, we're talking about Monaco. It's not the easiest thing in the world, but these guys are gonna have to figure it out. As there goes Lee Kelly with a 109.9, and there's Cameron Dowds following back up with a 109.5. The championship leader. We were talking about this before the stream started. He already has a 14-point lead over Lee Kelly in the championship. So this would be a really, really good race for him to take a victory in, extend that lead even more. 3 rounds in, he would have nearly a 20-point lead, and that's all season long. But him and Kelly have been up near the top. It's my mic. I'm not really certain. I'll it's any worse. Falling through with Liam Craig. I don't think he's on a lap anymore. He's on his in lap. Oh, he almost went into the wall right there, though. I think everyone who's on the track right now is either done with their laps or on an out lap. I think De Jong. Yeah, De Jong looks like he's finishing up his second straight run. We'll see. He's going to set a faster lap for sure. He jumps up to 4th place in between the 2 Mercedes. And De Jong, actually, last week with the Mercedes, had a massive accident, received 4 penalty points for it, as well as a 20-second penalty, which dropped him down the order slightly. He finished third on track, but ended up, I think, getting 6th or 7th with the penalties that he picked up. So he'll hope to not make contact with them this next go-around. But, let's see.
So I've got my camera on Tyler McIntosh in the Williams, who is an AF2 reserve. He just started his next lap. Or his first lap, not his next lap. My brain's still in the mode of AF2 right now, so... Have a mental reset real quick.
There's all the medium tires, which we're seeing a lot of drivers try out. And it's not necessarily a bad idea because, you know, with qualifying at Monaco, it's honestly a little bit smarter to go multiple laps at a time because this lap is so short and so slow that the tires sometimes don't want to warm up on that first lap. So, not at all surprised to see some guys setting multiple laps on the same tires. Plus, tire wear has not really ever been a problem at Monaco. Like I said, with how little the tires do on a track like this, it's really easy to save them a very long time. So I don't think we'll be seeing anything besides one stops unless safety cars get involved. Which...
Or just a lot of crashes.
Yeah, that's also possible.
Tires are very difficult to save if they fall off your vehicle.
Yeah, at that point, they might not be the greatest. Ooh, Tyler McIntosh getting held up just a little bit there by the Red Bull of Gabe Gazzola.
112-1 for him, probably partially due to the Red Bull's interference. But also because this isn't really his tier anymore. He used to be an F1 driver, but moved down because he was not super competitive. Among a couple of other reasons that he's specifically told me, but...
Yeah. Let's see. Do we have anyone else out on lap right now? We have the driver F1 Antics. I can't remember. What did you say his name was?
Bill Nowak.
Bill Nowak.
AF3 reserve.
So, he's raced in both the AF3 and the AF2 races, as you mentioned to me earlier, so this is his third race of the day. He's got a lot of practice. Unfortunately, that practice has only gotten him 7th on the board so far.
Well, for an AF3 driver, naturally, that's awfully good.
That is pretty good, I will say, for a natural AF3 driver. But there is a large gap in between him and 6th place, of 6/10 exactly. So, a lot of room to make up there. He's got a little bit of a cushion behind him, but still, I expect to see these lap times improve a lot more. So we've got Fonseca.
11.666 for McIntosh. Oh lord.
Get the crosses out.
Iron Maiden, where'd you come from?
Well, I think it was Fonseca setting at a 111.0 right there, putting himself into 7th place, just ahead of Bill Nowak. Dowd's now setting a slightly faster time, only about a couple hundredths above what his original time was.
No, that's an entire second.
Oh, it is an entire second.
109.5
wow,
before.
I did not expect that.
Yeah, no, that's a 108.5 compared to a 109.5. He gained a whole second on his lap.
Wow, that is impressive. Impressive stuff there by Cameron Dowds. We'll see if Lee Kelly can improve on that. He's about to start his lap, and we'll keep an eye on him.
And Carrigan's 3-lap-old mediums made a 109.8, so he's taken second place on those tires for now.
There's Liam Craig. He's been one of the faster drivers. He was taken out, actually, of the last race, in a not so gracious fashion. So he'll be hoping to stay on the track this time. But Kelly flying through the first sector. Flying through the first sector, about a half-tenth gain. Definitely not enough to catch up to Cameron Dowds quite yet. We'll see if he's able to make up more time. He was pretty quick through the hairpin there. It looked like. Didn't have to slow down too much. Looks like he's nailing this lap, but then again, we didn't get to see Cameron Dowds' lap, which was a very quick one. We'll see. This is coming. Oh no, this is not quite coming up yet to the Sector 2 timing line. Driver's getting out of his way at the Novelle chicane. Oh, taps the wall just a bit, and that's gonna hurt his lap. He's out of qualifying.
That's trying just to do a little too much, and now he's donezo.
Well, he tapped the wall coming out of Tabak, and I saw he had end plate damage at that point, he, instead of slowing down and saving his car, tried to continue his lap and ended up hitting the barrier and completely taking his wheel off. Now he has no chance of improving his lap, and that's really going to hurt his championship potential, especially at a track like this where qualifying is so important. To be that far away from Cameron Dowds already with time left on the board, he is going to have a lot of work to do if he wants to keep with him.
I think he kind of played a bit of a pinball with the wall. I didn't think he was trying to continue. I think he was just so out of control from the initial impact on that wall.
Oh, Liam Craig also retires as well, so the guys who are currently in 3rd and 4th have retired. De Jong jumps up into 2nd, though. An entire second behind his teammate, mind you. But still in 2nd place.
We need, like, a separate tier for Cameron Dowds.
That's
really
very
do.
possible.
We need, like, AF0.
AF0, just for Cameron Dowds. And, you know, it's possibly down to practice how much faster he is, because with this track, once you get it down, you can really put some nice times in, but he's just so far ahead of everyone else. It's incredible. We'll see if anyone is able to catch up to him, as we have Bill Nowak once again going through Sector 2 in the Ferrari. Going through the tunnel. As you mentioned earlier, one thing that I think not a lot of people think about when they race at this track is that you actually do have to be careful about going through the tunnel, because you can easily lose the car, as I have done many times going through time trial.
There's like a tiny bit of banking there, and sometimes the suspension undulates if you put in too much wheel, and sometimes the car will just be like, you know what, I didn't like that, I'm now going to crash.
Yeah, it's happened to me one too many times, and I am very wary of it now, even though it still gets me every once in a while.
Nowak gains only a few hundredths on his previous lap time.
Likely
it's really not going to be making much of a difference.
Well, Dowds is out for another lap. We'll pay attention to him in case he's able to improve on his time. He was slower through Sector 1 than he was on his original lap, only by 200ths,
I don't think
though.
he really needs to improve.
He doesn't need to improve, but I think at this point it's more of just a showing off kind of thing, like, hey, look how fast I am. Because I don't think anyone's going to be able to catch up to that 108.5 unless someone puts in a worldly lap. He's probably the only one who can beat it. And, you know, even worse news for Lee Kelly. Unless Dowds crashes, I don't see anyone being able to pass him in the race. So I believe the time delta you need to get past someone is over 2 seconds at this track, and I don't know if anyone else. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to be 2 seconds faster than him. As there he goes, improving his time once again to a 108.3. It's unbelievable speed by Cameron Dowds, and he could probably retire right now and be very comfortable in the fact that he has pole position already.
In the midst of that, we also saw Caden Bright's move to 6th on the board with a 110.38, and shortly thereafter, Nathan Aruda, an AF2 reserve, claimed 7th of 110.47.
Great lap for both of them. Caden Bright, first race was last week. He ended up picking up some points, but in a very difficult manner as he spun after the first safety car restart. He was up into 5th place and having a pretty good race until then. But he was able to recover for some points and is looking for some more here in Monaco already.
Christian Pacheco and Francis Ferrand are the ones currently running lap times. There's a few outlaps across the board, but only those two are on hot laps.
Yep. So we have Mercedes driver, I believe that's Cameron Tate? Smalley 1310, or is that someone else?
No, that's Ewan Small. I don't think Cameron Tate drives.
Oh, well, RIP
I'm not
Cameron
sure,
Tate.
to be honest.
Ewan Small there in 3rd place has retired, so he will not be setting another lap time.
Checo abandoned his lap.
I think Fran sliding through the 3rd sector.
All over the place through the swimming pool.
I don't think this is going to be a lap either. I think he may be setting it on the next attempt. Possibly. Oh, no. Actually, this might be a lap attempt. There he goes, up into 7th place, right next to his teammate. There's Gabe Cazzola retiring in 16th.
As Mikey De Jong's on his final lap, he's going to try and do something about whatever his teammate is on.
We'll see if he's able to. Paying attention to him now on board through the tunnel. And One thing I think this game does get right, you know, Codemaster is not the greatest gaming company in the world, but I love the way Monaco looks in this game. It's just such a pretty track. They were able to capture that pretty well. De
And that's an
Jong,
invalid lap for
yeah.
De Jong.
So
That's all but secured that pole for Dowd. I don't think any of the lower tier drivers at the bottom of the grid are really going to be challenging him directly.
I do not think so. We'll pay attention to Caden Bright. Maybe Cameron Dowd's on an outlap for some reason. I don't know why he decided to go out of the pits. Maybe it's a victory tour. But we're just looking through, trying to find anyone who is maybe on a lap. Yeah, Fonseca going through the third sector now, almost touching the wall there, going through the swimming pool chicane.
Well, if you're not almost hitting the wall going through that chicane, you're not doing it right. You'll definitely improve that 110-4 zone.
So that'll put
Charlie
him in
Congdon
ninth
right
place.
behind him improves.
And
then Tyler McIntosh behind him improves, and that's a 110-2 for an AF2 driver naturally now.
Very good lap for him.
Somebody else just moved. Jackson Turner with a 109.32.
Wow. And still almost an exact
he would improve.
second.
I didn't think he'd get that close.
Yeah, that's a great lap for him. Way ahead of his teammate Lee Kelly, who, as we saw on stream, crashed out of this qualifying. So good job for Aston Martin to be able to get at least another driver up there. Oh my goodness! I was on board with Jackson as he was doing his cooldown lap, and he almost took the car out in the hairpin. I don't think there's anyone else on a lap currently.
Phil Nowak is finishing his lap, but he's pretty much up the line now anyway.
There he is.
He'll make a 110.6, but he's not going to gain any places despite finding 6/10. I think Crabtree is also on a lap at the bottom of the sheets, the only one not in a 10 right now. The flood of drivers retiring from the session now that their laps are done.
I think we may have a slightly weird lobby, because I think, technically speaking, if we're talking about time here, I think it would have been impossible for these guys to start their laps if the lobby wasn't a little bit slow right now. Because I think once the session ends, it gives you 3 minutes at the end. Somehow he's on a lap right now. Interesting enough. Look, here comes Tyler Crabtree out of the final corner. See what he's able to do with his lap, and it doesn't get him much more. He's still going to be on that 111.2 in 15th. Fonseca's the only person who can actually have a new lap time. De Jong into the pits. That's if Fonseca's able to get there in time. There's only 10 seconds left.
Or invalidates his lap, so it matters not.
That'll help help that a little bit. So he heads into the pits.
Indeed, we have some obvious desync, but he's retired, which, deals with that issue.
There we go. So that should be the end of the session. And whenever we're on the grid going through the formation lap, I'll have you, Riker, go through our starting grid. And then we should be able to get going.
The names guy.
The names guy, yeah. He's my names guy. Because I don't know them. Oh, I know him now. I'm getting better with them, but you're still the names guy. So we had 3 drivers actually set times on those medium tires, being Lee Kelly, Liam Craig, and Ewan Small. Kelly, I guess, I don't know if that helps him at all to be able to start on the medium tires. He'll be faster at the end of the race.
He's gonna need that if he's gonna try and make up the ground, but I don't know how much that's really going to mean from there at Monaco.
He'll definitely have to be quick through this first few laps getting positions, because if he's not able to do it quickly, then those tires are going to start to fall off, and he is not going to have the pace to get around people. So no rain. Luckily for the drivers, I can't imagine what this race would be like if there was raining.
Painful, probably.
Yeah, very painful. We're just waiting for everyone to get their setups make sure they're ready to go, getting fuel, tire strategy. Didn't even notice this before. There is a no smoking sign in the pit lane, in case James Hunt wanted to show up.
That's the second time he's been referenced today.
Alright, here we go. So I'll have you go through our grid now.
The pole sitter by a lot, is Cameron Dowds in the Alpine, followed by Jackson Turner on the front row with him, Mikey De Jong, Ewan Small, Liam Angelo Craig, Francis Ferrand, Lee Kelly, Caden Bright, Tyler McIntosh, Charlie Congdon, Ethan Fonseca, Nathan Aruda, Christian Pacheco, Bill Nowak, Tyler Crabtree, and Gabe Gazzola, who never put in a lap time.
Alright, there we go. So, yeah, we're just trundling around a little bit. I think for Cameron Dowd, the only thing he needs to do right now is get a good enough start to not get passed going into turn 1. And he's probably got this race locked in, because even though it was qualifying, I just translating to race pace, I'd have to think he's still going to be well ahead of the rest of the field. We don't know how fast Lee Kelly would have been at the end of that, but those laps were so fast from Cameron Dowds, I don't think anyone was catching it. Jarno Otmir may have had trouble putting in a lap that good. That's a joke. Jarno would have definitely beat him.
I think the real life drivers would have struggled to make a 108 here.
That's probably very true, yeah. So here we go, settling in to the grid spots. Gabe Cazzola, driver in our last place, 16th, as we only have 16 drivers. He's just now filing into his grid slot. Lights are up. We've got 5 of them. And now we've got none of them.
Green.
The very long lights. Cameron Dowds gets a very good start. De Jong down the inside of Jackson Turner, but he's not going to be able to get the move done. Turner stays in second place. Didn't look like very much movement across the grid. And we are through turn 1 almost clean. It looks like Lee Kelly may have lost a spot. He's battling right now with Caden Bright. They're side by side going through here. I cannot believe
real estate for that.
He is just barely escaped with his position.
Very expensive
down
in
the inside of the
Monte
McLaren, he's mounted the curb, and he's already got a 3-second time penalty from it. He tried going down the inside of Francis Ferrand. There was absolutely no room there, and he's picked up the first penalty of the race.
That's a record right there, folks.
I'd have to agree with that one.
Second penalty.
So, as we mentioned, Cameron Dowd's already a second and a half ahead of Jackson Turner. We are almost 1 lap through of 39 laps at the Monaco Grand Prix. And now I guess we wait to see who's going to be making the first move. Lee Kelly is already on the back of Francis Ferrand.
Crabtree is out of the session.
Oh. So he must have lost it going into the swimming pool. We'll see if that brings up a safety car.
Probably not. From what I understand, there's a bug that makes them exceedingly rare at Monte Carlo, and yet we had one in the AF2 race anyway.
Yeah, there goes the flag disappearing. So no safety car for the time being. In real life, that would almost definitely have been a red flag, but those don't exist in this case.
Thank you, Codemasters. Very cool.
Thank you, Codemasters. So now I guess this is the point that I was expecting. I'm sure you were expecting, because you've had to kind of sit around and wait for something to happen. Because
yeah, we wait for the attrition. You gotta wait for things to settle out. Who's got the stuff to survive, and who's going to be going home with a missing tire?
Yeah, it's very interesting, you know. And there's Caden Bright picking up a 3-second penalty. This track, it's got almost its own set of rules in a way. Oh, we have a Ferrari falling down the grid. I don't know, must have lost it through the Noville chicane. Oh, it looks like he's missing an end plate, so that's possibly what that has to do. May have lost it through the tunnel, so he'll probably have to pit, because if there's any track in the world where you absolutely cannot bring damage in, it's got to be Monaco. The DRS now enabled. Cameron Dowd's already almost 3 seconds ahead of Jackson Turner at this point. Dowds could probably take a nap. He'd still probably end up winning this race with how quick he has been. So even though he's very clearly the fastest car on track, he's probably not going to get a lot of screen time, so I'll give it to him now while we have him. We got some battling going on down. Oh, and the AlphaTauri hitting the wall there. I don't know what caused that. Now he's battling with a Ferrari. Oh, contact being made.
He was attempting to defend or send from McIntosh. Defend from or send on McIntosh.
And he's out of the race. Got it on stream that time. Was trying to go around the outside of Charlie Congdon, and there are drivers hitting. Oh, there's a Haas.
He was making some interesting moves in AF2, so...
Oh, and there goes Bill Nowak. I'm picking up everything on stream right now. Oh, man, I saw a Haas without a front wing there. An AlphaTauri going into the wall, and then Mr. Bill Nowak hitting him, getting himself into the wall. Liam Craig is falling down the order now. Oh, he's gone into the pits. Must have had damage there. Looks like not Fonseca. Congdon is into the pits as well. So the first two we've seen of that so far. Likely to put on the hard tires, because I believe you can get to the end of the race from here on those hards if you treat them well.
Just watch the oversteer. Those things don't have a whole lot of grip, so you might just suddenly find yourself snapping.
Yeah, that was something you got to watch for at this track. Lack of grip. Especially because they don't necessarily simulate it that much in the F1 games, but in real life they do repave this area a lot, so it creates for a very slick racing surface. Just watching Lee Kelly through the tunnel now. He seems to be the only driver who's putting pressure on the one in front, besides maybe Fonseca on Tyler McIntosh. I get the titles confused. So we got Tyler Crabtree, who raced last week as well.
Ruda I saw making some unusual moves in AF2. Stewards in Korea about a move he made into one on one of the Alpine drivers during it. So, doesn't surprise me. He probably sent it in on McIntosh, tried to force somewhere that there wasn't space.
Yeah.
Obviously, I can't say for sure because I wasn't looking at it, but I saw him sideways entering the corner and sliding out to the wall.
Yeah.
And bouncing off of it into the Williams.
Lee Kelly is still putting a lot of pressure on Francis Ferren right now. So much so that he's almost touching the back of him going through Sector 2. That's how little space there is here in Monte Carlo. And he just desperately wants to get around this McLaren, but he is not able to get it done here. Both of them are saving up their ERS pretty well. Getting so close to Novo chicane. Oh, and he spun!
Oh! He clipped the inside. I said not to do that in qualifying, but you didn't listen to me.
If they had only listened to Riker, he wouldn't have done that. He's now down in the 7th place, and the runner-up in the championship at the moment is not looking the strongest. Didn't look like he got damage from that, but
his tires are probably on fire.
Yeah, they are not. They are probably not doing very well. He is struggling, and he is actually going to go into the pits now. I'm wondering what his plan is here. But we will continue on. Maybe pay attention to Mikey de Jong here, who's a half-tenth behind Jackson Turner and a half-tenth ahead of Ewan Small.
Blanket bit going. We had this in AF2 a bit as well.
And this is where pit stop strategy comes into play, because someone like Mikey de Jong could decide right now, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get onto those hard tires, see if I can run some pretty good laps and undercut whenever Jackson Turner ends up pitting. But you need to have an open track for that to work pretty well, and at Monaco that is not exactly open track is not exactly for free.
Yeah, it's a rare commodity to be alone at Monaco. Unless your name is Cameron Dowds, that is.
Who is, well, we mentioned it, 7 seconds ahead of the man in second place, and we've only run 6 laps. So.
And Mikey picks up a penalty through the swimming pool.
Unfortunate. And there's only a few places you can actually get a corner cutting penalty on this track, and all of them, every single spot where you can get a corner cutting penalty, it's really hard to not do so because of how tight this track is. We talked about these swimming pool, Novelle chicane, and the swimming pool chicane. I think are the only spots you can do that. Oh, and the hairpin as well.
You can also get it in turn 1 sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I meant to mention Sandoval. So Lee Kelly now.
As Lee Kelly just sandwiching Gabe Pizzola, almost puts him into the wall there. Kind of beginning to mimic actually the thing that Nathan Aruda did to an Alpine in the last race, but this one doesn't end with a destroyed car. So
thankfully for Gabe Pizzola, I don't think he got any damage from that. Take a look at his car. No, he does not have damage, at least visibly. May have some side pod damage that is a lot harder to see on the stream. But he is getting pressured by Liam Craig in the Mercedes, who already pit earlier. And Craig just trying to follow him through the hairpin right now, looking for some kind of opening. This seems to be the closest battle on track, so we will pay attention to it for now, as he is right on the back of him through the tunnel. Got to be careful with the dirty air. He could lose it. He's not going to lose it, though. And they're going to go side by, or almost side by side to the Novelle chicane. Little tap. Another tap.
I love taps.
And I can tell he's not very happy about it. Mikey De Jong and Caden Bright are going to enter the pit lane now, possibly for damage, I'd have to assume. Oh, and then yet another tap, and Liam. Oh, and he's now getting pressured by the Williams.
McIntosh enters the frame. I didn't even know he was behind him.
And there's McIntosh picking up the place.
Full advantage of Craig having to stop for Gabe's moment.
And that's fantastic racecraft there, to be able to see the opening and go for it.
Fantastic!
Fantastic, as Murray Walker would say. No. McIntosh is pressuring Cazzola, but now getting pressured by Liam Craig, and this is a fantastic battle going on right now with these three cars.
I think McIntosh picked up some damage not too long ago as he was trying to get around Cazzola.
Yeah, he may have. I did see him touch the wall a couple times, but he's going down the inside nonetheless. Still being aggressive with it. And now we have Caden Bright starting to come up to the back of them. He just came out of the pit, so he will be on fresh tires compared to these guys. We'll go ahead and take a look at that
damage he might have. It's not stopping him from just going right around the outside of Cazzola. And he'll be on his merry way. Picking up 2 places in 1 lap at Monaco is not easy.
Yeah, that was great racing there. Williams, I'm glad we were able to see that. And then right after that, as we're praising him,
for his trouble.
picks up the penalty. It looks like he's a lot quicker than the guys behind him, though. There's Liam Craig going down outside, of Cazzola with Caden Bright following closely behind. They're going through the final corner. I cannot believe they have not wrecked yet. There's 3 cars.
Very expensive Monte Carlo real estate. Caden Bright has entered the picture all of a sudden, and
we're still going too wide to
Sandoval. No more real estate. Red Bull's giving you wings and also giving you a heart attack. How'd you get through there?
Caden Bright gets around, going 3 wide through Monaco.
God.
Oh my goodness.
What is going on?
Oh, and there he goes, losing those 2 spots he just gained. He must have given those back, I think. With the way he went wide, I'd hope at least. Either way, there is some crazy stuff going on right here in Monaco. Cameron Dowds is leading by 22.5 seconds somehow. What a race this has been. There's Caden Bright picking up the penalty for his troubles once again.
Codemasters loves to stack the misfortune.
That was quite the few laps of battling we had right there between 4 or 5 drivers. I'm not sure how many there were because they just kept showing up. At the moment, Mikey De Jong is closing up on Ewan Small down the front stretch. Small on the hard tires.
He's looking for anything up to Massenet, but he instead gets a rear wing hook and finds the wall instead of an overtake. McIntosh gets a speeding penalty. How did you manage that at Monaco? What?
Yeah, that's a little bit difficult to do. Either way, that's a 5-second penalty. And he'll have to go through the pits again if he wants to get it removed. Which, at Monaco, not awesome to have to go through the pits one more time when most of these people will only go through it once. We have not yet had a safety car. So, that is not played into anyone's pit strategy. Small, heavy lockup going into the Novelle chicane.
As Mikey's struggling to find a way past Small, Jackson Turner is creeping up on the location as well.
This tends to be how Monaco goes. You know, you come up to someone who's a lot slower than you, but you can't quite get past them, and then everyone behind you is able to start catching up. Unfortunately for everyone behind you, they're not able to get past you, you're not able to get past the guy in front of you, and then there's just a gigantic train that eventually will probably lead to a wreck. But as of now,
it usually does.
As of now, we have all these guys on all 4 tires. De Jong is once again just trying to find his way around you and Small. Small seems to have picked up a little bit of pace because he was right on the back of him going up the hill the first time. Or, excuse me, last lap. Baxter Turner still catching up to them quite quickly, though. And he's already on the back of Mikey De Jong. So we'll have this train of 3 going around for a while. Down the order, we've got Tyler McIntosh on the back of Charlie Congdon, trying to go around the outside through Rascast, going for the switchback possibly, and he will go down the inside, makes contact with the wall, almost loses it, and he will not be able to make the position up quite yet. Caden Bright coming up behind them now. But we're seeing a lot of guys try to be aggressive here. It's not necessarily working out for him. Oh, and McIntosh is really getting close to Congdon. I think Congdon may actually be on AI at the moment. He's got the red X next to his name.
He is, yeah.
And that'll be McIntosh getting around the AI of Charlie Congdon. So
Caden Bright wanted to intercept, but there was no space.
He'll have to wait a little bit longer if he wants to get past him. But these Ferraris not looking the strongest right now. Once Caden Bright gets past the AI of Charlie Congdon, which he eventually will, pretty quickly, we'll have the Ferraris in 13th and 14th last of those on track aside from the people who have DNF'd already. And there he goes past the Ferrari down into the Novelle chicane. So we'll look back at Mikey De Jong as now Francis Ferrand in the soft tires is starting to catch up to these guys. Unsurprisingly, as he is the only driver on the track right now with softs. I'm not sure why he put those on because he's gonna have to pit again, I would assume. I don't think you can go 20 laps on the soft tires in Monaco.
No. And also, considering he put him on lap 9, he'd be going 30 with him.
Oh, he would be going 30 with them. My math
I don't think he'll be getting more than 20 out of a set of soft tires.
Yeah.
15 is stretching them, so...
And there's Dowd setting a lap. I didn't even realize he pit. He's still 9 seconds ahead of the guy in second place.
Yeah, he pit and didn't lose the lead.
Well, that just tells you how fast he is. As if we didn't need to tell you already. I think everyone's figured it out by this point. Through right now, we'll take a look at the penalty situation. Lots of guys with them. We have Ethan Fonseca, Mikey De Jong, Lee Kelly, Christian Pacheco, and Gabe Cazzola, all with 3 seconds. We got Caden Bright with 6 seconds, and then Tyler McIntosh with 8 seconds. That'll be a 3-second track limit penalty, and then a 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane, like we mentioned earlier. De Jong catching up to you and Small. Still, they've got a lapped car. If he's not going to get out of the way, that could slow him up even more.
That's not a lapped car. That is second place.
Oh, I was thinking that was Gabe Cazzola, but that is in fact Ethan Fonseca. Ooh. He's not looking all that fast because Ewan Small has caught up to him pretty quickly here in this lap.
He started on the mediums he's running on right now, so they're a little bit not great. And plus, he doesn't really have the raw speed of these 3 cars that are on his tail right now.
I guess the question now is, does he have the racecraft to keep them behind? You don't necessarily have to be fast at Monaco. As long as you have track position and the ability to keep people behind you, you have a pretty good chance of not getting past. So we'll see if he's able to do that, but he's got some really good drivers behind him who really want to make a move. I should mention Ewan Small and Mikey De Jong were 2 drivers that went into it in Discord, because De Jong, going down the front stretch in Portugal, caused a safety car because Small tried to go around him on the outside, and De Jong didn't know he was there, put him into the wall, ended up ruining his race. And they were Small was noticeably angry about it in the Discord towards Mikey De Jong. De Jong not very happy about that.
Trying to stick with these 3 cars ahead of him. You got more nerve than I do. I don't bother trying to touch on the previous race events, because that just brings back the drama sometimes.
Yeah, well, it looks like they've been pretty fair with each other so far. We haven't seen any bumping or weaving, so I'm pretty sure whatever beef there was last week is seemingly gone at this point. And now we have Francis Ferrand catching up to this back, and now we have a 5-car train for second place at the moment.
Where's Thomas? My word.
So, yeah, Fonseca's done a pretty good job so far of keeping them behind. They haven't, Small hasn't really been able to get super close to him. He's staying within the 3 to 5/10 range, which is around where you normally want to keep those behind you at, if they're faster than you.
If it gets any closer, and they're probably passing you, so...
Yeah.
You know.
Just Gabe Cazzola picking up another penalty on his hard tires. Oh! The Alpine... Oh! We got contact! And that's gonna be anger from Ethan Fonseca as he picks up a penalty from getting pushed through the no-fail chicane. Small picked up a 5-second penalty for that, and that will probably end up getting kept on his record. Lee Kelly picking up a 3-second penalty, and that was quite the incident. Is now there's people going through Razkaz all at the same time.
Turner.
And Jackson Turner fighting for position now with Mikey DeJong. They got held up by the Mercedes trying to go into the pits. And it looks like Jackson Turner is not going to quite be able to get around him. Made contact with the wall going down the front stretch. Don't know if he got damage from it.
Meanwhile, Gabe Cazzola had DNF'd in the swimming pool area. Yeah, I think my read on what happened there was I think Mikey actually missed his braking point a bit. He, like, force pushed Ewan Small.
Oh.
And he locked up because of it, and that allowed him, like, caused him to lock up into the Red Bull. So it was a bit of a domino effect.
The way my camera showed it, I didn't get to see DeJong missing his braking point. I just saw Small locking up. I'm glad you caught that.
Yeah, no, DeJong was, like, on his diffuser.
Okay, so then that is probably what caused that incident then. So, Small. Oh, he's getting pushed into the wall there. He was trying to get around Christian Pacheco as he came out of the pits, and Pacheco must have understeered going through Massenet, and Small was essentially pushed onto the wall. Luckily, he did not lose his end plate, but that could have been damage coming out of the pits for him, which would be absolutely devastating. As there's Tyler Crabtree, McIntosh picking up a penalty. We've had quite the action here in Monaco. For it being the Monaco Grand Prix, we've had a lot of people making moves, a lot of people making some not so smart moves, as there's DeJong picking up a penalty. We expected a lot of these, but...
Okay!
Oh! And that is going to be... There's gonna be some... Was that a lapped car? Of Congdon?
Yeah. I think Turner tried using him as a pick on DeJong and just could not squeeze in there.
So DeJong is gonna be very angry about that. I believe Congdon is still on AI. He is on AI at the moment, so I didn't see him leave the session, but he must have left the session at some point. And the AI of his car has now created some damage for the Alpine. I think maybe... Oh, no. Tyler McIntosh doesn't have damage. It looked like he might have going through the tunnel, but he does not. DeJong is going to be noticeably angry about that. He lost his entire front wing. Luckily he didn't even... He's lucky his car is not out of the race at this point. But he is going to get back to the pits.
Interval glitch. I got this in the AF2 race.
Oh, yeah, I got it as well. So I have to wait a
fix
second
himself as the drivers hit the line.
DeJong letting Francis Ferrand through. There's no reason to battle as he's about to go into the pits. The flag in Sector 1, although it's already gone, so it must have just been someone going a little bit slowly out of the pits.
Yeah, so I think Turner didn't realize that there's like the wall juts out because you're going up the hill there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what caused that crash for DeJong. I find it funny too, you mentioned, like, luckily, you know, Small and DeJong got into it at Portugal, but they hadn't gotten aggressive yet. Caden Bryce is out of the session, that's in the pit lane though. And then like a couple minutes after you said that, that's when DeJong got into Small and hit Ethan, and then from there it's just been a downward spiral for the both of them.
Wow,
They're gonna end up...
Yeah, I didn't think about that. They have ended up pretty
close to each other. I didn't even know Mike had anything to do with it until I mentioned it.
Yeah. But yeah, I guess they just can't get away from each other. They're both very fast drivers. As there goes Tyler McIntosh retiring. I believe that was also in the pits. Yeah, it was in the pits. But yeah, so now we have just 12 or 11 drivers, excuse me, left. So I think I predicted 4 at the beginning of the race. We're getting close, but not quite there yet. The closest battle at the moment would be Jackson Turner, who's trying to catch up to Ethan Fonseca. Cameron Dowd's 27 seconds ahead of second place, just absolutely cruising. He's had...
In F3 we had Aston Lewis, who almost lapped the entire field.
I think we might actually get to that point.
Get that here.
Yeah, because Dowd's pit for his mediums already. I'm pretty sure he'll be able to get to the end of the race on those tires. It may be a bit of a squeeze, but I don't think he's necessarily worried about that. Because even if he does get a flat, I'm pretty sure he can make it to the end and still win the race. So
Lewis Hamilton moment.
Yeah, he'll be cruising. Liam Craig picking up a penalty on his hard tires. And I can just going on here watching him on his 15-lap-old hard tires. Oh, there he goes with some damage through the last corner as I went on board with him. I was gonna say he was struggling for grip, and then he just went a little bit too deep.
That oversteer on those hards. They never heat up right. So
yeah, this track, as I mentioned, really bad for tire heating, and those hard tires are extremely difficult to get hot at pretty much every circuit. Turner right on the back of Fonseca. Fonseca picking up yet another penalty. That'll be giving him 9 seconds of penalties compared to Jackson's 3. At this point, I guess
it's kind of sad that the AF1 grid is getting more penalties than the 2 lower ones did.
Yeah. I assume I would put that down to aggression, maybe, but maybe it's just
overconfidence.
Overconfidence, yeah. I was gonna say that. You know, once you get put into a higher tier, it's just the mental thought of, yeah, I'm much faster than I was before. And a track like this, you can't have overconfidence, because overconfidence leads to damage and no more racing.
Pride comes before the fall, or in this case, pride comes before the DNF.
Yeah. So Turner getting pretty close to Fonseca still. Every lap it seems like he's able to inch a little bit more closer throughout the lap, but not quite able to make the move yet. However, he is closing up to him on the tunnel, and he's gonna go down the inside. He got it.
He's gonna just about keep the car in track. Yep, the car in track limits. Evan Riker is in there.
Well, either way,
char and crack limits. Yep, that's add that to the list.
Jackson Turner getting the char through crack limits, and he is up into second place. He was already technically in second place with the penalty situation, but I think he wanted to be there on track, and he makes contact with the wall. I didn't see any carbon fiber fly off his car. That was very close, though. And now we'll see if Fonseca is able to stay with him, although with the pace advantage Turner had, I don't think he's going to be able to. There's Lee Kelly into the pits now, getting off of those 15-lap-old hard tires. Likely going on, he will be going on to mediums, actually. I'm going to check on YouTube chat real quick, because I just saw someone posted something in it. So, we'll pay attention to Liam Craig, who is on the back of Christian Pacheco now, going through the swimming pool. In 9th place. Oh, and he's almost down the inside through Raskas. And there's Ewan Small. He retired in the pits, I believe. So that will leave us with just 10 racers left.
Craig down the inside of Pacheco into turn 1. Liam a bit understeery, but he's going to maybe pull ahead. No, bumper or wheel hook. Pacheco either has to back out or die. Yeah. So.
Oh, well, there's
Mikey DeJong is ignoring the blue flags and got a 5-second. I didn't even realize Cameron was lapping his teammate. That's ironic.
That is unfortunate for Mikey DeJong. to get the penalty because he didn't let his teammate pass. That's 5
He
seconds.
couldn't. He's going through sector 2. There's nowhere to go.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say
hairpin.
that is likely to get removed. There's not much.
You can't get out of the way in any of those 3 turns, so that you just cannot.
Yeah, so in some tracks you can make an argument like, oh yeah, you could have probably gone this way, you could have gone that way, left some space. I physically don't think that going through sector 2 you can actually have 2 cars. It's like
No.
from a physiological standpoint, that is not possible.
Some people try through the hairpin, but it just doesn't.
Trying is a lot different than
don't do
doing. Trying is a lot different than
You
doing.
can do it through Portimao.
Portier?
Mirabeau, where did that come from? You can do it through Mirabeau, but if you get the blue flag right where they are right now, you have to sit through the hairpin, where you're going too slow to get out of anybody's way. There's not room here, and there's not room going into Portier. So you have to wait until you're under the tunnel to even think about getting out of the way.
Yeah, so that is unfortunate for De Jong, but like I mentioned, he'll probably end up getting it removed. There's Congdon now getting lapped again. He's in 9th place. His AI, I should mention. But he's now 2 laps down. De Jong just kind of following his teammate now. Although not necessarily following all that close, as Fonseca has now pit. He's coming out right now in 4th place. And he's got a lot of ground to make up if he wants to catch up to Francis Ferrand. And actually, pretty soon we will see Cameron Dowd lapping his championship counterpart Lee Kelly in a second. So we'll probably want to get that on stream.
Just to rub salt in the wound.
Just to rub salt in the wound. I mean, imagine if at some point this season we would have seen Lewis Hamilton lapping Max Verstappen, or vice versa. Probably would have been memed all to hell. So we'll get this on stream so the ARC meme crew can get on it if we have one of those. I'm not sure.
Not really, and they don't make relevant memes if they do have memes.
That's unfortunate.
They'll mostly be like Francis and Liam, but they usually post irrelevant nonsense in the general chat.
I have someone in chat saying Jackson eats wall, pass it on. So I'll go ahead and pass that on to the viewers that Jackson in fact eats wall. Although he's not eating that much wall because he's in 2nd place, albeit 41 seconds behind the leader, but he's one of the only cars left on the lead lap at the moment. So that's got to be props to him at least for being able to do that well.
1 of 5, soon to be 4.
Yeah, Kelly, it looks like he's keeping his distance a little bit from Dowds, but I gotta imagine at some point Dowds is gonna catch him. Although he is on the more worn mediums, so possibly Kelly might actually have a little bit of pace on him.
Dowds gets a smoke screen from Kelly going through the chicane.
I saw that, yeah. I just kind of want to watch Cameron Dowds for a little bit because, I mean, he's so much quicker than everyone. I'm wondering, like, it only takes one mistake, you know, and then he could end up losing his chance, I guess. So at this point, do you think he's trying to push to kind of show off, like maybe he wants to lap the entire field? Or do you think he's just kind of trying to make sure he makes it to the end of the race?
He must be pushing a little bit at least. His battery is dead.
Oh, I see that. Yes. So he's doing something, at least, if his battery is dead like that. We've got a Ferrari who is... The Ferrari in 10th place, an entire lap behind his teammate, Charlie Congdon. I wonder... Bill Nowak must also be on AI, unless he's just that slow that he's an entire lap behind an AI car.
He's had to make a lot of pit stops.
Let's take a look at that. I have not looked at the amount of pit stops in this race. 7 pit stops for Bill Nowak. I can see now why he is an entire lap behind his teammate. I assume that's just from not being able to keep it out of the barriers. He's the only person to have that many that's still racing.
Now, you didn't catch him being lapped, did you?
I did not catch him being lapped.
You failed.
Well, here's Lee Kelly.
Exactly, I did. So, Cameron wants that to shove in Lee's face. I have the recording.
Well, Kelly's officially lapped now.
He's pitting.
He is pitting, so didn't get lapped on track at least. Maybe that's got to be some kind of consolation prize.
Oh no, he got lapped on track.
Oh, he did? Okay. Okay.
He got lapped on track and then elected. Well, might as well go in the pits now. I mean,
yeah.
Pack it in, the show's over.
Well, he is down into 6th place. Liam Craig and Christian Pacheco are both in the pits now. Putting on the medium tires, getting wings fixed. Yeah, this is. I was expecting a little bit more action towards the end of this race, but everyone has kind of spread out at this point. No one's really got pace advantage over the next person, so it
just takes time for everyone to settle out to their individual stations. Once they get there, not a whole lot changes unless somebody wrecks their car.
Yeah, and I would expect at this point. I don't think we should be expecting a safety car. Like you said, there is a glitch that makes it harder to get safety cars at this track, and oh, and then we have a flag in sector 2. That's a Ferrari. He's still on the track though, so no chance. But yeah, it's just 10 laps to go. Less laps for many of the drivers on this circuit, as they have been lapped and they will not have to finish the entire 39. Probably a good thing for them to not have to do all those laps. We do have Mikey De Jong though. He's slowly, very slowly catching up to Ethan Fonseca, and while they are very far away from each other, oh, actually they're not. Mikey De Jong does have more penalties. Oh, but he does have the 5-second that is likely to get removed because he got the ignoring blue flags penalty. So, while he will likely have less penalties, at least at the end of the race, than Fonseca, I think with the way drivers think, you know, you kind of want to do it on track, especially at a place like Monaco. It'd be nice to make a pass like that. So
yeah, you kind of want to play the video game, you know?
Yeah. So he's on more worn mediums, but it can cause you, so wouldn't at all be surprised to see De Jong have the pace advantage, and he does have a strong pace advantage over Fonseca. At this point, it's about half a lap, so we could expect him to be on the back of him by a lap 32 or 33. At that point, the question just becomes, how difficult will the overtake be?
Yes.
And
the answer is always yes.
Answer is always yes. Yes. Is it Monaco? Yeah. So is it difficult? Yeah. Yeah. Either way, though, he's already within a second.
You're about to ask me if he will make the overtake, in which case my answer is I don't know.
Probably not. Ask again later. This is the 8th ball.
I'm sorry, but I can't do that.
Sorry, but your question doesn't make any sense. Overtaking at Monaco. Well, De Jong is already on the back of Fonseca. I wonder if Fonseca has a problem.
Yeah, what is your lap 32? I don't know what you would. I guess you're looking at Cameron's lap counter.
Here he goes down the front stretch. It looks like he is going to get past him easily. I think Fonseca may have let him pass. Possibly.
Probably, yeah. The answer is yes.
Well, unfortunately, I was hoping for at least some kind of battle there, because that would have been some action to commentate over, but that did not happen. So,
it's like what I said in the qualifying with AJ being on a lap when nobody else was. Somebody had to save the commentator. Make that the Twitter hashtag. Hashtag save the commentator.
I'd love that hashtag. I would love that hashtag. I'm glad actually, because I forgot. I normally have water with me whenever I commentate. You know, obviously just keep the throat lubricated, and I forgot it for this one. But luckily I haven't had much action to commentate over, so I haven't been losing my voice like I did last week. Oh, flag in sector 3.
As we both revealed to each other, we both do vocal training, so we have our we haven't exactly had musical careers or anything, but our longevity in our vocal cords is probably what's helped us be commentators.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. My vocal training has done so much for me, being able to talk as long as I have. And there goes Liam Craig. Looks like he's retiring in the pits. I'm surprised people are retiring now, because why not just stay out on track and get the points? He's only got 8 more laps to go. But he has retired in the pits. That'll leave us with only 9 drivers left.
Yeah, I don't think that answer of yours is 4 is really going to come to fruition here.
Yeah, unfortunately not. We've got auto racing connected in the chats with hashtag save the commentator. Unless, is that you? Okay.
That would probably be AJ. He's not running the race, he's just watching. So.
Oh. Well, he's thrown out some some interesting hashtags now in the chat.
Yeah, let's just keep it to hashtag save the commentator.
Yeah, we're gonna
right?
keep. I don't know if I'm allowed to say the other one on stream. It would be a little too much for the audience.
Putting words in his mouth early, AJ. Come on.
Yeah, come on, man. Paying attention to Francis Ferrand now. He's one of the only drivers left on track without a penalty, and he is catching up to the back of Jackson Turner now. Dowds is at the beginning of Sector 1. Turner and Ferrand are going through Sector 2 now. They're catching up to some lap cars. I have a feeling Cameron Dowds is very possibly going to lap these guys by the end of the race. Ferrand having to go around a lap car through the tunnel, that's a very dangerous spot. Have to do that, especially when it's an AI car and not a person who will give you a little bit more space. So Lee Kelly into the pits now for softs, looking to maybe see if he can catch up to Ethan Fonseca there. Cameron should stop for a cup of tea. Cameron could really do anything he wanted now at this point, and he could still win the race pretty easily.
Take a nap, go check Facebook, prepare some lunch or dinner, because it'd be like 10 o'clock there or something like that.
And while we're on the topic of Cameron Dowds, AJ in the chat asked driver of the race for you guys, and I think it has to be Cameron Dowds, because I think it would be unfair to give it to anyone else besides him. You know, he hasn't done anything this race, but that's because he's been so far ahead of the entirety of the field that he hasn't had to do anything. So
yeah, I think the only other possible candidates are Ethan Fonseca, who's up 6 places from where he began, and Ferrand, who's on for a podium, possibly more, and he started 6th, but he also didn't get a single penalty up to this point in the race.
That's true.
Which,
yeah.
Other than Cameron and Charlie Congdon's AI, which is kind of cheating the system, he's the only person to manage such.
Yeah, as we were talking about penalties, Christian Pacheco picks up another one. We'll take a look at the penalty situation real quick. 3 for Jackson Turner. We have 11 for Mikey DeJong, which will probably be changed to 6. We've got 9 for Ethan Fonseca, 6 for Lee Kelly, 12 for Christian Pacheco, and then 3 down there for Bill Nowak. So, just about 5 laps left of this. Ferrand has caught up to the back of Jackson Turner now and is pressuring him quite heavily.
He's been at the back of Jackson Turner for some time, but I don't know if he even wants to try and make the pass because of that penalty on Jackson Turner's forehead.
Yeah, I don't think he really wants to, but I'm not sure. Some drivers find pride in being able to win it on track versus penalties. So we'll see if he actually.
It'd be great if he did try to go for the move, save the commentator.
Hashtag save the commentator. He does have a lot of ERS saved up, while Jackson Turner has absolutely none left. So he could have a chance here, with Turner having to recharge his battery.
Yeah, I have no doubt he'll have a chance. It's just the question of whether or not he'll actually take it.
Yeah. And there's Lee Kelly picking up the fastest lap. Good job for him. I assume that's the exact reason why he went into the pits earlier. As many points as he can take off Cameron Dowd, he's going to do so. That's
any sort of consolation prize while he's at it.
Yeah. You know, this has been a tough round for him. You know, getting knocked out of qualifying after hitting the wall multiple times, and then just not being able to
Play a
get
bit of
quite
Space Cadet 2000.
Yeah. I didn't get to watch that movie, so I don't know that reference.
That's a pinball game.
Oh, okay. Well.
That's like the pinball game that comes with like Windows XP.
Oh, you know what? I think I remember playing that now. Now that you say that, I did have an XP. I played Grand Prix Legends on that Windows XP computer. If you ever played that game.
No.
Oh, it's great. It's a F1 1960 simulator. Still probably
I know
my
what
favorite.
it is.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm not sure because a lot of people don't actually know what that game is. Surprisingly. It's definitely my favorite simulator of all time. And I wish I had a computer that could run it. Unfortunately, there aren't very many Windows XP computers that are still working in 2022.
I have one.
Oh, really?
Well, I kind of have one. It's not at this house. It's at my grandma's. But... the problem is, it doesn't know. It's so outdated that it doesn't recognize most RIP or zip or RAR files anymore. So it can't really open games that aren't in disk form.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. I don't think I have the disc for Grand Prix Legends anymore, but oh man.
Dad's elected to pit and put on soft stick that point back.
Wow.
Away from Kelly.
Wow, that's almost pettiness at this point. Almost, because at this point it is a championship. He does need to get the points, but my goodness, he was so far ahead. He said, "You know, I'll just go ahead and I'll take that point right back from you." I'm wondering if Kelly he has if he might be able to gap Christian Pacheco enough to have another chance at getting the fastest lap, which I think he might go for. But I think I'm gonna go on board with Dowds whenever he starts this next lap because I would like to see him set the fastest lap.
Before like the ultimate plot twist, he tries to push too hard for the FL and instead totals the car.
That would be quite the ending to this. Quite the ending to this Monaco Grand Prix. Just amazingly, he pit for new tires. He's still 40 seconds ahead of the man in second place. By the end of this lap, he's probably gonna be 45 seconds ahead. But here we go. I'm gonna go on board with Cameron Dowds, and we will just watch the master at work as he heads down the front stretch to set the fastest lap of the race with 2 laps to go. He's getting very close to those barriers, but I'm sure he knows exactly what he's doing getting that close.
If you're not close to the barriers, you're not driving to Monaco, right?
That's absolutely correct. He is flying through right now. He's got a wall of Ferraris in front of him, though. That's gonna create an issue, and this lap is probably gonna have to be aborted. Yeah, this lap is definitely gonna be aborted. He's gonna have to wait another one, I believe. That was quite funny to look ahead and see 2 Ferraris just essentially blocking the way, giving Lee Kelly his best. And there, I just see Lee Kelly right now is into the pits. So he is going for yet another fastest lap. It looks like Christian Pacheco did the same thing.
Yeah.
So we'll see who is going to end up with the fastest lap. I don't think it'll be Dowds at least this time, because of how hard he was held up there by the AI of Charlie Congdon. Dowds down the inside of Bill Nowak into turn 1. So we'll see if he's able to clinch the fastest lap or if Lee Kelly can keep it, essentially. Mikey DeJong getting out of the way of his teammate very early on here. Making sure Dowds has the clearest space possible. Barely. Oh, Dowds drifting through the hairpin. That was quite interesting, the way he took that. He looks pretty quick right now.
See, I'm keeping my camera on Francis as he's trying to save the commentator.
Dowd's
can't do it in turn 1.
Using all of his ERS right now. Check Ferran real quick. He's not able to make the move yet on Jackson Turner. Oh, but he's going for it a little bit. It looked like he might have been going for it at least. But here's Dowds around the final corner. He will win the Monaco Grand Prix in dominant fashion. And there he goes with the fastest lap on 109.7. Now we'll have to see if Lee Kelly's able to take it back. We'll pay attention to Ferran now. We'll see. Yeah, Kelly's right behind them, so we'll pay attention to Francis Ferran, see if he's able to get second place on track from Jackson Turner. And then
I don't think so.
I don't think he will be able to. But what about Minesweeper commentators? Says AJ in the chat. I'm not really not really sure about that one. I don't know if they're
Minesweeper.
Hey, I played Minesweeper when I was a kid, man. That was a fun game. I didn't know how to play it. I didn't know how to play it. I just kind of clicked for a while until I lost, but it was still fun. So, Ferran not able to get second place on track, but he will get it after penalties. However, will Lee Kelly be able to take the fastest lap? I'm not sure. We'll have to see after this, because he was the last one to cross the line, so it disappeared as soon as he crossed it. Driver of the day given to Ethan Fonseca, however, that is not the case for us. It's going to have to go to Cameron Dowds for me, as we were talking about earlier. But here is your podium, I should say.
The 20 frame per second podium ceremony.
We've got Cameron Dowds on the top taking the very coveted Monaco trophy. We got Francis Ferran in second place. And in third place, the Aston Martin of Jackson Turner. As they shake the champagne around. Jarno Altmere taking yet another victory. And here we go. We will take a look at this final grid, and then we will say goodbye to you, AF1 fans. But there it is. Cameron Dowds finishing in first place. Lee Kelly not able to get the fastest lap. He was 4/10 off of Dowds' time. So Francis Ferran picking up second place after the penalty to Jackson Turner, who finishes in third place still. Fourth place we have Mikey De Jong. Fifth we have Ethan Fonseca. Sixth we have Lee Kelly, Christian Pacheco, Charlie Congdon, and then Bill Nowak with the finishers of the race. And then we have Liam Craig, Ewan Small, Tyler McIntosh, Caden Bright, Gabe Cazzola, Nathan Aruda, and Tyler Crabtree, finishing out the finishing order of this race. All right, so Record, do you have any final comments on that one?
Completed the Ironman. That's about it. Commentated all 3 races in one day.
Hey man, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. That's a difficult one.
My throat is not happy about it, but I don't think
mine wouldn't be either. Well, I think that's us finishing up here from AF1. Thank you for watching if you stuck with us all this time, and we will be back next week.